Welcome to Class Haven Farms. My name is Andy. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here for a while, welcome back. I've been gone for a little bit, so we're going to talk about why I've been gone and show you guys a new place I got. So my job today is cleaning up the carport of the new place. So recently divorced. A year ago I was living in my camper, but I was able to work out a deal where I got a house with 6 acres and I was able to keep some of my things. Still got the tractor. Still got the chickens. Still got old Ruby. Hey, Ruby, what are you doing? And I also have a new member of the family, Lily. So they, let's just say they keep me busy. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving, because I'm recording this on Thanksgiving. So I had the smoker out. It's done now, but I did a turkey just for me and the girls, and I'll do all the trimmings here later. The carport here has been like the catch-all for everything. So went to settlement on this place in May and had to rip out the bathroom, rip out the kitchen, and the carport has just been the place where I can keep the tractor stored, which is probably going to stay there for now, and then just storing just the scrap pieces of wood and sheetrock and everything else. And you guys know, once you start that, it just gets into a big mound of stuff. But the good thing is the bathroom's been done for a while and the kitchen is officially done. So got a dishwasher, so that's nice because I've been hand washing everything for a long time now. So I'm just gonna pick this place up and take you guys along with me. I got to take some stuff here down to the barn. So this property has an old tobacco barn on it. I'll kind of show you guys the barn. I would love to try to keep the barn, but there's some spots of it that are pretty bad, and with the way prices are on everything and just the cost of divorce and everything else, kind of strapped for money as it goes. So we'll kind of see as it goes along, but I would love to be able to keep it if I could. Tobacco was always a really big cash crop here in the county that I lived in. I cut tobacco as a kid, so it'd be cool if I can keep the barn just because of the history behind it and the history of the property. So I don't plan on changing much as far as the content of the channel. Still doing my firewood. I got a new wood furnace that I put in this house and had a new liner put in. And so I'm still gonna keep hammering down on wood and wood hounded and stuff like that. Still got the chickens. Also looking to keep up with meat chickens. I was starting to do those right before everything went the way it went. I'd actually ordered 10 of them and had dressed them out to get ready to move on to pasture, and then everything went to the handbasket. So I plan on doing that. Still plan on doing turkeys. And down here, I have a pasture field that eventually I'd really like to be able to do some beef cows. So that's the cool thing about the journey that I'm on in my life now. Now I don't have that anchor holding me down, complaining about if I'm spending time on the channel or I'm spending time on things. Nice thing about it is I get to do what I want now. So I've been listening to a lot of Steve Harvey, Bishop Jakes, Eric Thomas, stuff like that. You know, Steve Harvey said something that really resonated with me. Stop telling your dreams to small-minded people. So that was something that I did for the longest time. Things that I wanted to do, I was telling the wrong people, and the wrong people were, you know, in your ear. I don't think that's a good idea, and I don't think you should do that. Yeah. For a long time, I changed my career around for people, and you know, didn't put myself out there when I should have put myself out there, and I'm paying for it now. But at the same time, I do have some blessings that go along with it. So one thing that Steve Harvey talks about is having gratitude. For a long, long time, I didn't have a lot of gratitude. The job that I do, you're just seeing nothing but negative stuff all the time and dealing with negative people. And you just let it get to you, and it festers, and it just makes its way into the other portions of your life. So, you know, I can honestly say, you know, I went through a divorce and all, and I'm not going to say that it was all one-sided. I definitely had my issues and my problems and things that I could have done better. Kind of sad that it took me a while to realize it. But the crazy thing is, and those of you in marriage know, you know, Bishop Jake says it best. He used to have people come into him talking about, I'm leaving him because he's homicidal, and I'm leaving him because he's this, or he's hurting me, and things like that, which are all reasons for someone to leave a marriage and a relationship. But now people are leaving because they're not happy. They're not happy. And I don't know. I guess maybe being with the neighbor makes you happy. So you just gotta look at it. I mean, I look at where I was a year ago. I was literally living in my camper, and now I'm back on my tractor and doing my stuff. So you only change that by changing your mindset. If you stay in that negative mindset all the time, that's where you're going to be. And if I would have stayed in that negative mindset, I'd been stuck in that camper. So sometimes you just got to open your eyes up, realize the things that you can't control, and stop focusing on the things you can't control, because I did that for a long time and it gets you nowhere. Here we are at the old tobacco barn. Was able to save the dump trucks. That was a good thing. I didn't think I was going to be able to keep them. So I was able to keep the dump trucks, got them moved here. Actually just had a tree service company that was working for county roads out here, chipping stuff up, and I said, hey, you want to drop that stuff at my place? You can. And they were happy to do it because it saves them trips running down to the landfill. So here's the old barn. I'll walk you through it real quick. The back side of the barn is really good shape. You don't see a whole lot of daylight and sunlight coming through the roof on the back side. So that's good. But the front side is a different story. So anybody that knows anything about old barns, what kills an old barn is when you can start seeing everything, seeing the daylight through it. So it's got the old stripping room back here, which is a room you would have used in the wintertime to strip all the tobacco, and you'd hang the tobacco sticks across all these crawl braces. So there's some really good points in this barn. I mean, some of the main beams are pretty decent shape, but then like you get on this backside here, and we got this one here, which if you can find a beam long enough, they can reset it. So I don't know, guys. I would love to be able to keep this barn. It'd be really neat. The one idea that I did have, and I'll walk you outside, is what I want to do, whether I keep the barn or I redo the barn or whatever, all this barnwood siding. The house has a bunch of that wood paneling, and with the price of sheetrock, I'm not sheetrocking the whole house. It was enough just to sheetrock the bathroom and put green board in. So what I want to do is take all these boards and the paneling inside the house, I want to paint black, just paint the panel in black, and then put these boards over top that paneling, so it would almost look like you're walking up to the outside of the barn. I figure, you know, I'm going to have to replace these boards anyway with new, if I go that route, or if I take it down. So I might as well get some use out of these boards and don't have to pay for sheetrock. It's pretty cool though, like on the backside, just some of the coloring and the coloring differences. Looking at this barn, and I'm not a barn expert or anything, but I'm thinking this barn was built like in the 1910s, 1920s, only because you kind of look at the saw marks. It doesn't have the hand-hewed stuff like some of your older barns. But still, man, pretty neat stuff. I do keep a couple things in here. I don't keep a whole lot in here. Nothing of main value. I mean, I do keep the zero turn in here, just because I don't have enough room in the shed that's here, and I want to try to keep it out of the weather. And like I said, the backside of this barn is pretty good shape. Not a whole lot of daylight coming through the roof. So that's it for the barn. So let me get this stuff unloaded and I'll show you around more of the property. So this is coming up on the back side of the house. Got my firewood here. I got to put a shout out to my church. They found out some of the stuff I had going on and donated wood to me. And I couldn't be more grateful because with everything I've had going on with the house, I didn't have time to get wood together. And firewood is my main source of heat in this house. It's just the way that I had to set it up for the time being. So most of that wood there was some of it I gathered and split, but a lot of that came from my church, and I couldn't be any more grateful for that. You can see, still got the old coop, and I got some playhouses. I got this idea a while ago, and I now have 17 chickens. I've become like the people want to get rid of chickens and they contact me, so I end up picking up some of those houses. They're just playhouses. You get them relatively cheap. Some of them I had given to me by friends and the kids growing up. They come in really handy. See if I can zoom in on it. I just put some tobacco sticks in there for roosting holes, and they just roost up in there. I don't know how great it'll be in the wintertime. The log cabin one is actually pretty good. You can close that in. The one on the far side there, that's just for putting feed in. So that has their winter corn and it has a laying mash. And I put that there just to kind of have some cover because I do have some hawk issues. Larry, the rooster, does a pretty good job of telling the girls, but I'm gonna take a chance on it. As you can see, the Premier One fence is doing good. I have not lost a chicken to foxes or raccoons or anything, because the fence definitely keeps them out. We did lose Pete about a year ago now to probably an owl because she came out too early one morning. And I guess because Larry wasn't out, he wasn't there to save her and get her out of it. Oh, something I want to show you that's really, really cool. Probably one of the neatest things on this property is this right here. Now, some of you will look at that and say, what is it? It's a cinder block thing in the side of a hill. It's what my realtor said when we were looking, and I knew exactly what it was. I said, this is a grease pit. And she said, a what? I said, a grease pit. It's where you change your oil. So you drive your car over this, and then you have the pit down here to stand in and be underneath the vehicle, and you can change your oil. It even has an electrical plug there. Now, I haven't tried any of this, and actually, I haven't really even walked down there. See if we can get down there and I don't bust my tail. Of course, if I bust my tail on YouTube, you guys will be sure to comment below on that one. So yeah, so grease pit. What do you think, Lil? This is Lily, our shepherd puppy, who I got from my awesome realtor. So thank you, Angie. Appreciate it. Yeah, so you would just be here and change your oil because you would drive over top here. And then, of course, it's got these old boards. I would replace those boards. But it has stops here so you don't go too far. And the tires would stop here. I thought it was pretty neat, man. Grease pit. I haven't used it yet. I think I'll make sure I have somebody here for the first time I use it. But, I mean, she's solid cinder block. She ain't going nowhere. Yeah, just something neat. It's kind of the bottom here. Tell you the truth, my daughter had this awesome idea of putting a gaga ball pit down there. My kids love playing gaga ball. So I thought about putting a gaga ball pit down there. Also thought about bringing some of the wood chips down and banking them down here and kind of making a compost pile down here. Because we definitely, where the chickens are, actually to the right of where the chickens are is a garden area. It's an old garden. I want to tear all the old fencing down and probably move the girls there for the winter so they can put some butt fertilizer on there and get it ready for me for the spring. So definitely a lot of potential here on this property. This is the old shed. I'm not going to take you guys in there right now because if you thought the carport was bad, you should see that place. But just a little cinder block shed, just to be able to have my tools and have my stuff in. So it's stuff's looking good. One of the things I love the most about this property is being able to watch these two do this. So for a long time it was just me and Rube, and we were living in a camper, and then we had to move into a 2-bedroom apartment. And you know, you go from having 3 acres and having land for Ruby to run on to being stuck in a camper and being stuck there. And now, I'm not gonna lie guys, sometimes when I'm out here doing morning chores, I just sit here and watch these two and laugh, because they just have all this room to run. And Lily can be such a butt sometimes, and I think now she knows that Ruby's done with her. But I just thought I'd share that. They're out there running in the bottom of that field, and it's good to have that. It's good to be back. So we did have something exciting happen last week. We hatched 5 baby chicks. So they came from our rooster Larry, and then Mama was our chicken Crystal, and she did a good job hatching them. So pretty cool. It was Halloween. I picked the kids up from school and I had them for Halloween. And my daughter and I came out here to check the coop. We're actually down in the basement right now is where I have them. But we went out to go check the coop on Halloween and noticed Crystal had gone broody. And if you guys remember, and I'll put a link up at the top, when Ethel went broody, and we borrowed some eggs from a friend of mine and hatched them that way. But this time it was all natural. It was all Larry on the Crystal hatching them. And then once they hatched, it was about 20 days it took for them to hatch. Went out there one morning to go check eggs, and sure enough, I had 3 of them, and by the next afternoon, we had 2 more. So looks like they're going to be a cross between an Easter egger and a barred rock. So we'll see how they develop and come along. Ruby is super excited. Ruby loves baby chicks. So it's pretty cool just to kind of get back to that normal. So our first 5 baby chicks at the new place. Kids were super excited. Everybody was excited. It's always fun when you bring new life into the world, especially when you're able to facilitate that. The pasture field I was talking to you guys about. This is a super awesome hill. Kids and I cannot wait until the snow comes, because we're going to do some mad sledding on this hill. So when I bought this place, the grass was probably 4 foot tall in some spots. So it was a lot of bush hogging. But I pretty much got it to the point where I like where it's at now. I would like to do one more cutting, especially on this hill, just to knock out some of this high grass. So that way when we do get snow here in the next month or 2, it'll be a nice, easy sledding hill. This is an old garden, which you can see I got some playhouses down there. Hey, Lily, come on, Lil. She's getting too far away. So I was planning on getting some goats and putting them down here and letting them kind of tear that stuff up. But just with everything going on, it hasn't worked out that way. But I'll still look to do that, especially on this hill. This hill is really, really bad. I'm not going to try to cut that. It's really steep. So I think I'm going to probably eventually get the Premier One fencing like I have for the chickens, and do the same thing for goats, and just move the goats on all these spots here on this property where the grass is tall and it's hard to cut with the tractor. So you can see there's another old garden down there with all the growth and stuff going on it. So I'd like to get that all cleared out. It's got some fencing and netting on it now, but it's not anything that's going to be usable. So, but what I would like to do is just get all those treetops, probably cut them up waist high, and then try to get a dozer in here and push all that stuff into the woods so I can try to open this back up to all pasture field. The game plan eventually is to start off with meat chickens down here and running chicken tractors and across it, and then eventually getting to the point where I can put some beef cows on the property. So I think that would be good. So just kind of a side shot of the carport and some of our pine wood that the kids and I use for just fire pit stuff here. They love doing that. They miss doing that. We used to go camping a lot. That's kind of all been sidetracked. We did, I did buy them a tent, and we did some tent camping here in the backyard, and that went over pretty well. So we'll probably try to do some more of that now that I'm getting a little bit more stable in this house and getting farther along. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know I took a hiatus for a while. Wanted to kind of do a welcome back video, and I figured Thanksgiving would be the best time to do it because I wasn't working and I had some time. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I know before I was doing once a week video uploads every Saturday morning. I plan on trying to get back to that, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys, with my workload and now being a part-time dad and splitting the kids half the time. When I have them, I try to focus on my time with them because they're obviously got their issues going through this process as well. So, thank you guys very much. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to actually do a video again. It's been a long time. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.